Okay, this is the second tutorial. In the first tutorial we drew a profile and then we've extruded it up to this part here. What we need to do now is we have a look at the spinning top. It's actually got a hole in this face here that goes through, but it stops. It doesn't go all the way through, it stops into this part here. So we're working down here. So we want to put some detail onto this face of the drawing. If I come in and hover over with my mouse and left mouse click, the face turns blue. If I then right mouse click and go to new sketch, I come back to my screen where I've got my details about drawing circles and rectangles and everything else. Over on the viewing cube, if I select this face here, turns the model around so I'm looking directly at the face I want to draw on, and often that's really handy to be able to look directly at the face. So now I'm going to put a circle on, and once again any size, doesn't matter. The size of that we're going to change to 10. And we also need to dimension it so that it's in the middle. So this time we're going from the line to the middle, and I can drag it out here, and that's 9, so that's a pretty good guess. And also from that line there to the middle and up here, and I want to change that to 30. Now when you're looking straight at the face, it's difficult to see when you extrude things. So what I'm going to do now is hit the home button once again, and that now turns it around to a 3D view so I can see what's happening when I extrude that hole. I've finished that sketch. I now go to extrude once again. This time the profile is just the circle, and by default it adds on detail. So it's adding on a little cylinder. I want to cut. So over here, if I hit cut, and I want to change that. I don't want it to go all the way through. I want to stop at about 35 millimeters. I click OK. I've now got my hole that starts at this face and goes all the way through 35 millimeters, and then it stops. And if you have a look at the original one, there it is. Okay, now we want to do something that we forgot to do the first time. If I have a look at this one, the corner has been cut off. On ours, we haven't done that yet. Okay, we can do this a couple of ways. We can go back over here by using this model bar down here. If I go to extrusion 1 and click it with my left mouse button and then right mouse button, I can go down to edit sketch. That takes me way back to the start. My viewing cube, I can turn that around. If I like, I can even turn it that way to make it look easier. And what I've got to do is I've got to take this corner off here. So I'm going to put a line from around there somewhere to there. Now, if I try and trim that, I often get this funny dimension happening here, or I might even get an error message coming up saying I can't do it. For example, I trim that line, the 42 has now gone from the bottom of that chamfer there instead of the top here. If I hit undo, you can see the 42 is actually lined up with the top. So when I try and trim that little bit there, because this dimension is here, it's affecting the view of the drawing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that dimension and hit delete and get rid of it. The line hasn't changed, the length of the line hasn't changed. Now when I hit trim, nothing else will change there. I now have to dimension that so that from the dot at the end of that to that dot out here, well, that's a good guess. I wanted it 10. So from the dot to the dot and up here, oh well, I've got to change that to 10. Now I've finished. If I hit finish sketch and I go back to my home view, the drawing has automatically updated itself and the extrusion has put itself back on, now with the corner cut off. So if I go back to my original spinning top, I've got exactly the same thing. You might have noticed that over here there was a curve. Well, we can fix that up as well. We can once again go back to sketch 1, right click, edit sketch, and over here there was a little curve. Let's just have a look again. Around here there was a little curve around here. So we'll go back to our part. We can go up here to fillet. We can change that size there to, well, let's try 10 millimeters and we'll see how that looks. And I'm going to then select that line and this line, and let's put a 10 millimeter fillet or radius around there. If you think 10 doesn't look any good, let's try 15. And that's curved it up quite nicely there. I've got a bit of a funny thing there that I can get rid of. I think I can trim that out of the way. And I've done something a bit funny here. So I've got an error message coming up. Remove the dimension to perform this operation. So I've got a measurement over here of a 10 and a 15 that are kind of over top of each other. So what I've got to do is escape, hit the escape button, select that 10, delete, select that old fillet, delete, and I've got my radius. Once again, if I hit the finish sketch, it will automatically apply that fillet to the extrusion, and now this original one and ours is complete. It's looking very similar.